Bro, I don't know how it just ended like that.
Why am I getting an Instagram notification that Kevin Love is talking about Ja Morant?
What's up, chat? Welcome to Quest for 18. We're about to get started. All right, let me get the simulcast up. Allan, you're on mute.
Good, everybody. Welcome to Quest for 18 podcast. I am one of your hosts, Allan. Of course, got Earl.
Wait, I can't hear anything. Hold on.
If you're new here, like I said, we take chat questions. Feel free to give your hot takes about the game. Of course, Big W versus OKC. And yeah, like I said, both Earl and Jake, feel free to drop your opinions and, of course, post-game thoughts.
Go ahead, Earl.
Bet. Okay, my fault. I was about to actually go ahead, Jake. Let me set this up.
It was a really good win. I loved like the energy on stream, I guess we could say, since we're here, especially Mal. I love Mal. Even seeing like Mark positive was really cool. What else? It's hard. Listen, dude, we're 16 games back in the standings. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being realistic that it is one game. I'm not criticizing the one game, but it is one game. So we have a lot to see still. I don't want to play them until the conference finals because of how good they are. I respect them. When we get there, I'm always going to feel like we have a chance. I'm not going to say if we get there, I'm going to say when. But until that, I just, you got to take it game by game. Like, this is a Lakers podcast for those who don't know. I'm not on camera today. I'm still a little sick and my back's killing me, so I'm kind of just chilling here. But we got to take care of business every game. It's just a reality. I think the Houston game's harder than people think, even though we're at home. I think the Trailblazers game could be a problem sneakily. I think, obviously you got the other Thunder game and then you got the Mavs game, which is crazy that it's kind of lining up with this time. People are getting excited for the playoffs and then Luka goes home to Dallas. But, AD playing and things like that, it's a hard game. They're not like this amazing team. They don't have Kyrie Irving, but it's still a hard game. And I just think people are sleeping on our schedule. So I can't guarantee we'll be the third seed or anything. But hopefully the Warriors and Nuggets keep losing and making it easier for us. We could be on the right side of the bracket and also like just have home court in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. I've been saying that it's the best team since 2020. So I think I'm right. But I don't know what that means for the playoffs because the difference is in 2020, we were dominant and we're not dominant this year. We definitely look dominant today, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'll follow that by saying I thought the OKC game was amazing. I think we talk about getting into like a playoff environment, like the teams you strive to play against and strive to compete against. We know, like, if we want to go through the West, 9 times out of 10, we're probably going to meet OKC. So just seeing it on paper, like, okay, we're able to win this game, I think it's huge, not only for like us as fans, but confidence from the players. And one thing I talk about, like, the interesting thing about playing these games back to back, it almost gives you a mini playoff type of environment. I like to see, I talked about this before with the Jazz game. I felt like JJ Redick didn't do a good job of game playing after a win because it's harder. It's hard to game plan after you win because obviously you got the W. Like, what is there that you can change? There's little things, but it's hard to get guys to lock back in. So for me, we shot really good from three. I'm not expecting to be that amazing 2 games in a row. Just not trying to be negative. I think that's just the case. And I'm just looking to see if we can do it again. Like in a series, you got to beat a team 4 times. So if we can go out there, win Tuesday, that's 2 games on OKC going into the playoffs. Obviously, seeding is a huge thing as well. I think it'd be huge for us. But I definitely do agree as far as like what games are next. Like, yeah, there's some tough games on the schedule. Like Rockets, we just beat the Rockets, and that was Jalen Green having pretty much his worst game of the season. Does he do that twice versus us in a row? Probably not. So we have to lock in and expect a big game from him. Also with that, like, can't forget Mavericks. Like Anthony Davis, he's been playing good basketball. Like, he's healthy again. I know his first couple games he looked a little bit shaky because he was getting back into conditioning and stuff like that. Well, he's back. Just had a game winner versus the Hawks. I think the game before that he had 30 plus, couple block game, good amount of assists and rebounds. So he's back, and he didn't get his chance to play against Los Angeles in his return first game. So that's a big matchup. And then Portland, they've been playing absolute great basketball. People was like, oh, why would Portland want to try to close the season off good? Because regardless, they don't have anything to lose, and they're just playing basketball over there. Like, do you think they really care about that? I don't think they care about the notion of, oh, we don't, even if we win games, we're not in this. No, like, they're legit just playing good hoops. Danny's been on a tear. Klingon has been getting more minutes, and he's been playing great basketball as well. So those are challenges that we have to get over. And like Jake said, of course, like, a lot of it, how easy things are that we can't control, depends on like teams like the Nuggets and the Warriors, what they do. So personally, I don't believe in like just fully focusing on like what other teams can do for us. I still think we have to focus and lock in on winning the games we can. Like, it's definitely possible we can win out for the rest of the season. It's definitely possible we can go out there and lose any one of these games coming up. So it just depends on how serious LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic take these games and how easy they want their path to be going into the playoffs. Because like Jake was mentioning on stream, there's two paths for us. There's this path where you have easier competition and you're more rested for a run going into like a big game or big finals versus the Celtics, I'm assuming, or even maybe Cleveland. I don't know. You need rest. You need to be in the peak form you can be in to get a good series out of those teams. Or we'll end up playing like the Nuggets, OKC, maybe Warriors, like a crazy 1-2-3, and then go into that championship game as well. So everything depends on the Lakers. Everything depends on what LeBron James, Luka, and Austin Reeves want to do. The fate of this team is in their hands. Like, I know we talk about role players showing up, which I agree they have to. They did tonight. But let's be honest, they're not going to be consistent every single night. They haven't been. So all that depends on Luka Doncic. He played great today. I think his impact on both ends of the floor were amazing. This is the best game as a Laker he's had, contributing to winning basketball. So if Luka can play right, LeBron didn't even really have a crazy game at all. But all the other role players kind of stepped up, and Austin Reeves had a good game again as well. So I don't know. It just depends on those guys. Austin Reeves, Luka, and LeBron. The rest of the season rides on y'all. But I agree, it's not as easy as people want to make it out to be as far as finishing out the season. But we definitely have a chance to win out if we lock in, focus up, play real hoops, focus on defense like we did tonight. I think it's huge. And I think that rebounding thing we were talking about all comes back to, I'm going to use that funny Darvin Ham quote, energy and effort. Tonight, I think at one point someone said we were over boards by like, I think it was like 10 or 12 versus OKC. Well, how does that happen? Guys locking in, guys being intentional about boxing out, guys going for rebounds, not leaving their man open. You got Goodwin going, crashing the glass, Rui, DFS, all these guys, all of our wings going and crashing the glass and making intentional about that, even Luka and Reeves. And when you have that, it's team rebounding. We don't have a dominant center. No offense to Jackson Hayes. He has his moments, but he's not a dominant rebounder. So rebounding is key for a lot of these games to win out. But, yeah, I'm excited. Huge win versus OKC. I know it was kind of winded, but it was a fun game. And I agree. Like, the chat was here. I appreciate everyone in the chat. We're trying to build up a playoff environment. I promise y'all every single playoff game is going to be live. Like, it's going to be, like, the most fun chat we've ever had. So I appreciate y'all coming in to the chat, having a good day with us, and staying right after for Quest for 18 as well. But I'll swing it back to Allan.
Yeah. Overall, Lakers in 5, as Shannon Sharp would say. Like, this team is just overall looking at the first half. Like, that's the team I want. And that's, I feel, that's the team that we could see heading into the playoffs. Like I said, we saw it versus Denver in Denver. We saw it in LA against Denver. Like, this team has unlimited potential to be arguably a NBA Finals contender. And like I said, it's led by Luka when he gets hot, and it could be led by LeBron James. It could even be led by Austin Reeves. Like, this team has undeniable scorers, and as long as the defense does their thing, like, they don't have to be a top 5 defense. Like I said, they could be top 10, maybe even top 12, but as long as they offensively play consistent, and like I said, play tonight, JJ Redick as well, like, this team can be great. So I'm over happy about with the game and how everybody played tonight.
Same here. I don't have too much to add. I mean, everyone just saw it. It was great. But I do agree with Earl. The playoff atmosphere in here, doing the games, streaming in this way, it's going to be fantastic too. So I hope, everyone here, you guys can all, I know a lot of people went over spaces right now. I know it's different for like this kind of podcast. Maybe they'll be back. But for the playoff games, we need everyone who watches these streams to be here and be really hype and, make it fun. And yeah, we got a bright future here too. So don't forget about us at Quester 18 and don't forget about us at Playoff LAL. Why not us?
Yeah, and then last thing I'll add to it too, because I think we've pretty much had a really great complete conversation about what's happened today's game. But like this is what I was talking about last week. Like our offensive ceiling with this team is insane, bro. Like if everybody locks in, like obviously it's not gonna be every night, but look at tonight. And I don't even feel like we can all agree like LeBron wasn't even there all the way tonight, bro. I wouldn't even say Reeves was all the way there offensively tonight. And we still won. Luka was dominant. Reeves hit timely shots. Even Rui, he didn't have the best game either, but he hit two kind of big corner threes towards the end of the game to kind of keep the lead above 20, which was huge for us, which we struggled with recently, closing out games and keeping big leads. DFS was hitting the shots. Gabe was hitting the shots. Goodwin was attacking the glass, hitting a couple floaters. I think he had two. Jackson Hayes had some energy buckets. Like he started the game off aggressive in the paint. Did he make every shot? No, but he put defensive emphasis on Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet, where they couldn't help out on the perimeter, and that opened up our 3-point game. So I think if everybody is locked in, like it comes back to that conversation. Like I think Miles said in the chat perfect. Like you got to rise to the occasion. Like these guys have to want it. Like we can go out here and be fans. We can cheer for these guys all night. But at the end of the day, if LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves wake up and they don't want to go out there and give it 100%, which we've seen recent games in general, then we're not going to win. Like everything rides on LeBron, Luka, and Reeves, bro. If those three guys come out there with energy every single night, how can I, as a team, as a role player, not go out there and do the same thing? So I'll say that, bro. Luka is going to be like, shout out to DFS. I'm glad the gimmick, the butt naked open gimmick was annoying. I'm sorry, he was missing too many threes, but now he's been a little bit more consistent. We talk about consistency a lot on this podcast, and I will say the role players have stepped up, and some of them will probably be moving up on that tier list today. And I have to refresh my mind on who was where last week, but yeah, I'll just say like last thing, shout out to Austin Reeves, bro. He's been truly incredible. This last month and a half, like even just the season in general, yes, but people said like offensively, like how does Reeves fit like next to LeBron and Luka? I mean, dog, last month he was putting up 24 a game, and this month he hasn't slowed down.
Yes, and of course, let's move on to Tuesday's game. Of course, we are going to play OKC once again. This time, of course, back in OKC, and I know, of course, you're going to talk about in the stream, talk about how the Lakers could potentially rest. Like that's a game the Lakers, I'm not going to say don't have to worry about, but it's a game where they could, rest. Players don't have to go as hard as they did tonight. And I think also Jake mentioned like how this isn't a national TV televised game, so the stakes are low, you can kind of say. So what should JJ Rex's game plan be to Tuesday?
The game plan is just they're going to do this is as simple as I think I can say it. I know not everyone understands complex basketball terminology. I get lost sometimes. But the Thunder are going to do the opposite strategy of whatever they did today. So whatever their game plan was that didn't work, you would think they do the opposite. How do you counter when you're seeing a different Thunder team on Tuesday? That's how I see it. It's the same players, but a different plan. And that matters, and coaching matters. And the Lakers are going to have to counter something totally different, which gets into in-game adjustments. I don't see the Lakers making pre-game adjustments without knowing what's coming from the Thunder side. I just don't think that's realistic. I don't think JJ's sitting them down and telling them to do anything different. maybe he wants them to play the exact same way because he saw the results. So when OKC gives you that punch in the first and you're down 32-22, what are you going to do about it? And that's what I'm going to look at. So it's like the game plan needs to be being ready to adjust. I don't know if we'll win. I don't know if we'll have the same energy. I don't know if they'll rest players. There's a lot of unknowns. I'm thrilled that we got this one. I had a feeling all day that we were going to get this one. I don't know why. Yesterday too, I thought we were going to win. But the Thunder are an amazing team. They're a historic regular season team. And honestly, like, we're putting a dent in that history right now. Like, they would be an even more historic team in the win column if we didn't get the win today. And we'll see what we do Tuesday. So we are putting a dent in that, but they're still great. Shea had 0. I saw right now Shea had 0 free throw attempts today. That's crazy. Like, I don't know if that's realistic for Tuesday. What's the officiating crew look like? Probably a little different. I don't think he necessarily deserved any free throws, and I felt like they screwed us over too. And I saw Thunder fans saying, Lakers complain about refs, and that was their backhanded way of, like, complaining about the refs today. They're like, don't the Lakers fans normally complain about the refs? No, you guys wanted to complain about the refs, so just say it straight. Like, just be honest about it. I don't know what's going to happen Tuesday, but I do have a lot of hope that we have a chance against the best teams because of this and the Denver game. That's why, to me, I don't care about the Hornets, the Bulls, the Jazz, the Nets games. And it sucks that we had so many of those since even, let's say, acquiring Luka. But when we play the Knicks, who we beat twice, when we play the Celtics, who we beat once, when we play the Thunder, when we play the Nuggets, when we play the Rockets, it looks different, especially with Luka. So it should give you a lot of faith of how we move in the playoffs. Who knows who's going to be what seed? I guess we don't. But hopefully it goes our way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for us, as far as game plan wise, you just got to go. I agree. You got to go out there with the same game plan that worked. And then as the OKC, like as the Thunder adjust, JJ Redick has to do in-game adjustments. I think that's the best thing we can hope for because I'll even say on our side, it's not even like we played a perfect game. Like I mentioned, like LeBron, I feel like could have been way better offensively. Even Austin Reeves as well. Like I think there's still levels up he could have took in tonight's game. I think the one person who had the best game, I feel like obviously was Luka. And it also depends on our role players as well. Like our role players were a big part of this win. Like, do they hit those same shots they hit tonight? I don't know. I'm hopeful that they do. We need the consistency. It's been a little bit better consistency-wise recently, but a lot of outliers. But yeah, I'm excited for next game. I think it's going to be a good one. And I think as far as like decisions about who's playing, I don't think there'll be any like rest players, if that makes sense, like resting just to rest. I think everybody knows what the stakes are as far as standings, and JJ knows, Brown, Luka, Reeves knows. So unless they're actually hurt, I don't see anybody just sitting out to sit out anymore. Only person maybe is Rui because he's still adjusting to that injury, which to me is fine. DFS would just start, and then we'll kind of transition out those minutes and figure it out.
Yeah, for me, I'm on the side of resting them. Of course, because they have like a 1-day break. They're off Monday, and obviously they played Tuesday. But I think you utilize that time. If Adam Silver is gonna fine us for resting LeBron, Luka, and etc. On a non-televised game, then so be it. I feel like JJ Redick and the front office and whoever should take the initiative and say, hey, this is the first time in a long time we don't have to fight all and play all the games to get into the play. We're gonna get third seed, but we can get the third seed, we can get the fourth seed, we can get the fifth seed. So if that's our goal, we should prioritize our rest and prioritize the best team heading to the playoffs. And if we need that rest, JJ Redick and etc. should rest them. Plain and simple, in my opinion. So yeah.
Yeah, and what, like, since you have this on the screen, Allan, like, not to be negative, but again, like, you could say this every year. Don't get me wrong at all, but I see 3 losses against Milwaukee, Chicago, Orlando in a row. I see another Chicago loss. Then that Golden State game, which sucked. And it's like, yeah, I don't expect to win every game, but I feel like there's a lot of, like, this is an expression, but like literal red on the ledger here for the Lakers when there didn't need to be in a lot of ways. And you look back and it's like, if things broke a little bit differently a couple times, we would have been a clear number 2 seed right now and set in stone. And I feel like as much as we're not fighting to make the plan, we're still fighting for our lives to be a seed that we want to be. I don't know what seed they want to be, but I'm not playing OKC round 1, which would be the A seed, and I don't want to play OKC round 2, which would be the 4 or 5 seed. And I'm not necessarily scared of them. You have to go through them, but I want the build up. Last year, and I was talking to you guys like we were on here, I know we were all trying to be positive. It was Lakers Nuggets round 2 this time last year. It was about to happen. And I said, like, I don't know why all these Lakers fans are talking out of their ass. Oh, we want to see the Nuggets round 1, which is what it ended up being. I didn't understand that. Why would you? I'm not saying we should have tanked or done anything different. That was a conversation, like, to tank one of the playing games, which is so dumb. You don't do that. But like, why do you want the Nuggets round 1 when you know that's the team that you're going to struggle the most against? We would have been better off against OKC. Last year's OKC team was really different. We would have beat them. So that Lakers team from last year ended up having no chance to do anything because we ran into the Nuggets in round 1. With obviously no Luka, it's the AD team, and they destroyed us every time. Why were you guys like seeking out losing in round 1 or like trying to act cocky? Not you guys on here. We all had similar sentiments, and obviously we believe in the team. But this is why I still believe seeding matters so much because of matchups and because at the end of the day, one side of the Western bracket, when there's, 4 matchups in round 1, one side of the bracket is going to be a lot easier than the other side.
I think Earl's gonna get outside. Yeah. Like I said, these losses right here are showing like Milwaukee, Chicago, Orlando. Of course, although we obviously want those to be wins, but the Lakers are luckily in a good seed, and like I said, they don't have to force their way into a play-in, and Luka, LeBron, etc. can be prepared to head to playoffs. If you're in chat, feel free to chat. Have any chat questions, we'll answer them, and at least vote for you, Jake and Earl. Any more topics for into our tier list?
I don't know where. I don't even see Earl, but there he is. I'm an idiot. My all the cameras were hidden. Any more topics? I don't know, Allan. It's harder to do when there was a game today, and no complaints because obviously it was a great game and we won. It's harder to think of like random topics. My mind's very much on that game. My mind's also on the next game, and so I guess we'll have to see. But the tier list, I can say I'm definitely excited to do in a week. Should we say a week like this? Not really. We lost to Golden State, but a day like this, yes. Earl, go ahead.
For me, I think I'm good. I think we had some good, meaningful basketball conversations, not only about Thunder, but to close out the season. So I'm ready to get to this fun tier list. I think some guys may be around the same, and some guys might be getting a little bit of upgrade. So we'll see. I always do have to refresh my memory on some of these games, though.
Yes. Yeah. So this is our tier list, S, A, B, C, D. Our following players down below is LeBron, Luka, Austin, Dalton, Vando, Rui, JJ Redick, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, and DFS. Arguably, those are our primary rotation. You can say for this Lakers roster, and everybody else is on injury, limited minutes, and of course, South Bay Lakers. So I think we can start off and go with Gabe Vincent for this one. And I'm feeling confident about his play heading to playoffs. I feel this is the best Gabe Vincent we've seen his entire Lakers tenure overall. And he started to hit threes. Like LeBron and Luka are starting to find him. I have him B, but I feel like I gotta look at his stats overall. But I feel like B, top of B, B plus would be where I'd have him at.
Yeah, top of B, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I think because like not only his offense is there, but this is the first time I've seen his offense and his defense kind of be good at the same time recently. So I'll say that. I'm cool with that. I think that's a good little casual start.
I'll go Rui Hachimura. Rui had 11 today. He kind of picked it up towards the end. He had 2 threes. I thought it was kind of a rough game. And then he didn't play against the Pelicans. What else counts as this week? Was the Rockets game this week too?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was.
Yeah, I'd say Rockets 2 now.
Okay, so he had 7 against the Rockets, 3 of 10, 1 of 6 from 3. And then the Warriors, weirdly, he had 24, 9 of 15, 3 of 6 from 3, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. Like the Warriors being his best game and the other one sucking, and then him missing one game is so odd to me, and that makes it a weird week. For all of those reasons, I'm going to go C. And, maybe even lower in C. I think it's the injury, to be honest. But I don't know. I'm not feeling like it was the best Rui week.
I'm cool with C as well. I think Rui, he missed that one game, and the one game he did have a great game. We ended up losing. Also, I know like his ceiling is a lot higher, and I think he'll be better next week. So I don't want to overrate him this week when he didn't really play to his standards. Like we look at Rui for being like a 14 or 12. No, I'll say 14, like 14 plus points multiple times a week. I think is a Rui B. So I'll go with C. Yo, what's up, bro? Appreciate you coming back from Spaces. Cypher. Yeah, but I'm cool with C for Rui.
Allan, thoughts? Or you run the next one, Allan.
I think here I'm gonna go with.
Or is it Earl? My bad.
No, you're good. I think I might have to go DK. I kind of almost want to go. I don't want to say limited, but is there games he just didn't play?
I think so. I'll check right now.
Like Rockets, Rockets don't connect.
Yeah, he didn't play 2 of the. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he ended up getting garbage time or something, but yeah, he basically didn't play 2 of the games, and then he was good against the Pelicans, and I felt like we needed that weirdly for a second. And then today, like he got just 1 3 in garbage time, but he actually didn't play again. I think he played 2 real minutes today.
Mm-hmm. So this week it's Golden State, Pelicans, Rockets, and then Thunder today. All right. I got that now.
Yeah.
Okay, bet.
So what are you giving him?
Oh, I said limited, but like I can pick someone else, I guess, since I didn't really. Let's just.
Yeah, I would say limited too. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Let's just throw up Vando. I gave Vando like a C. I feel like I don't know if he was a D, but I also know he wasn't a B.
Yeah, I mean, he was close to D for me because he actually did play. Look, he barely missed any shots except against the Rockets. He was 1 of 6, but he barely took any shots. He also did okay with rebounding, and then he basically had no assists or steals or blocks. I got D.
Okay, yeah, I
don't understand what he did, but I'll let Allan be the tiebreaker between C and D. I'm good with whatever.
I'm trying to find the stats, but I feel like Vandal defensively did a pretty good job versus OKC. A lot of his impact from I saw were like the little things, like when Alex Caruso went for a layup, Vandal was there to contest and causing Caruso to miss. So primarily it was his defensive awareness slash like placement, as I said, he was there. But offensively, I think it's a D. But I think his defense is good enough where the Lakers don't have to take him off the floor, or it's like he's not. I feel like today he wasn't a noticeable negative, you could say. So I have him at C. You can say like lower C.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
Also,
low C is cool. Yeah.
let me just with these playoff ciphering. He said in chat, Gabe Bernarui question mark. Why y'all think that? I think we look at offensive performance, and obviously Rui was limited due to, of course, him missing a couple games and injury. But Gabe Vincent has been playing very good, and arguably, I'm not gonna say he's the sixth man, but like he's arguably the sixth man of this Lakers roster.
I also think, yeah, maybe he is the sixth man, but I think he hasn't been in here for other streams, and I will say like it's based on the week, and then also like compared to themselves, as I always say. So I mean, Rui was clearly worse than Gabe this week. Eye test and numbers, so that's how we got to that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, Allan, go ahead with the next one. I'll go after.
Yeah. Let's go with Jackson Hayes for this one. I gotta really look at his stats, but Jackson Hayes has been playing as Jackson Hayes. I'd put him lower than Gabe. I put him in the middle. Just I kind of have two players ahead of him, but he's been playing really good in terms of his role and impact on the floor.
Yeah, so, I agree. Eye test probably be. I mean, he had a 12 rebound game versus the Pelicans. Like Hayes is a guy like he's only going to be a scoring factor when he's being fed the ball for the most part. And defensive wise, I think he's been good, except for a little bit last game where he kept like jumping at shots. Like he kind of reversed the old Gabe. Gabe. Yeah, kind of reversed the old Jackson Hayes for a game versus the Pelicans where he was just jumping at dumb stuff. I felt like. But other than that, I think his defensive impact's been there. I mean, we've seen him hustling on the glass, creating second chance opportunities. Maybe not even getting the rebound every single time, but being there for us. I think B. I don't think he was above Gabe though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he was above Gabe, but I think he was pretty good, pretty solid. Yeah. I would say look, I'm gonna say the exact same spot for Hayes. I'll do Luka. This is so hard. I thought he was S today. I guess you could make the argument he was S against the Pelicans, maybe A, like worst case. Warriors F.
Yep.
For me, we don't even have an F, but like as low as possible. And then Rockets, not great. I mean, we won that game, which is funny, but yeah, not great. So I'm going to say I'm okay with going A because of the last two games. He's definitely not like on a Gabe or Jackson Hayes tier, even compared to himself. So I'm going to say A, but it could have been close to S if the Warriors game was S. I'll leave it up to you guys, of course, as always. That's a harder one.
I'm going A as well. I think those last two games kind of justified. I think, honestly, if he would have done good on the Warriors game, he probably would have been an S in my opinion. So I'm going A. Who thinks we should have kept Seawood over Lynn? I mean, yeah, at the time, but Christian Wood is still not even cleared to play basketball, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. It's probably like a loss regardless.
No, he is cleared to play.
He is?
Basketball. Well, he said that. I don't know if he's lying.
Oh.
But it doesn't. You don't need Seawood over Len. I'd rather have Len because of what he offers, just in case. Seawood doesn't give you a chance to play defense at the 5. At least Len can block some shots or get rebounds.
I mean, funny enough, not even trying to troll. I mean, we got that Maxi guy. Who knows what he can do?
Yeah, no. So Maxi plays like Wood a little bit. Obviously, he's not as tall or lanky, but they play a little similar. And so then why do I need Wood? I never regret anything with like Christian Wood or Cam Reddish or anything like that.
Same. Like they had plenty of opportunities.
They did. And Wood had opportunities to be on the court and it didn't work out. So
Yep.
Yeah. I think you said Arsenal basically Luka Doncic. I think it's an A. A quick one to that Len Woods. Like I said, it doesn't make a difference who was on the court. They're both practically unavailable when they are on off the court. So yeah, doesn't matter. So yeah, Luka Doncic, I got him at A as well with Jake.
Yeah.
Earl.
I think that's your turn now.
it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah, we just got out of order.
Oh,
'cause
damn, my fault.
2 after Connect.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go bubbly bag wine open. I'm gonna go DFS. Honestly, if we're being completely honest about DFS this week, bro, he had 2 stinkers. I'm gonna be real. He had 2 stinkers, but his 2 good games. We all remember the Rockets game, which we won. He had 20 points. He also had 6 threes that game. Pelicans 5 points, 1 for 3. Golden State Warriors, when we needed them, 1 for 6. And then obviously Oklahoma City Thunder, 4 for 5, 14 points. I don't know, guys. I mean, maybe I'm being harsh, but like top of C, bottom of B in my books for DFS. Probably top of C in my opinion. I just think it's a consistency thing for me. Like he knocks down 2 more threes. We're in that Warriors game. And we win. Same with Luka that game, obviously. But like I just think that impact, how bad he played on that game, definitely weighs on me. Personally.
You're saying I'm sorry. I got distracted for a sec. You're saying for which player?
DFS.
And you said what? C?
Yeah. I said C or very bottom of B.
He
Like if you look at the stats.
But he helped us get the win today and clearly today and versus the Rockets. He was no help against the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Pelicans 5 points in 32 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If he's C, he's higher than Rui, is where I'm at.
That's what I agree.
Allan,
Either top of C or bottom of B in my book.
bottom of B feels like a little bit of a stretch, but like he's higher than Rui and lower than Jackson either way, if you think about it that way.
True.
Is he even lower than Jackson though? Like now that becomes a question. I mean, 2 of the
I
games
feel like
were
his
horrible.
floor. Yeah, I just
For
feel
me,
like his games
I
were
have
so
Gabe
bad.
and DFS over Jackson Hayes. I think
okay.
for me, just based on their play and them being their factor, and obviously compared to who they are,
Okay.
I feel like they were the 2 guys who helped us win.
Yeah, and like Jackson didn't really have the best week. He's had some better weeks recently that we've said. I'm going to change my mind and go DFS is above Jackson.
Okay.
I don't know, Allan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same train. I think Gabe's over DFS, but DFS over Hayes. Actually.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. All right, let's do that. And then Allan, go ahead when you're ready. Or did you already go?
Yeah.
No, it's your turn.
JJ Redick. Tonight's game was S tier, but previous games there is some questionable.
Yes.
And it isn't fully on him, but I don't know. There's some questions. I feel like A, and he'd be above Luka.
I remember literally talking about us putting JJ Redick lower this week. Warriors game was horrible. I'll tell you that. But it's like today was so S tier that it's like he almost gets above. I'd say like nothing good or bad about Pelicans for him, and he got a Rockets win. Yeah, he's A. I'm not gonna lie.
He has to be like
It was the
Rockets alone.
The Warriors thing throws him off of S. He's probably
Yeah.
S without the Warriors game. Like if we win that game, he's probably S.
I agree. And like looking at that Rockets game, bro, that defensive scheme for that game, bro, we kept them off that 3-point line. We took Jalen Green out of the whole game. So I definitely think it's A, bro. And that Warriors game, literally, maybe I would have even said S plus. So yeah, I'm cool with A. Y'all are.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm with you. I'll also do Austin.
Why these two always last?
What?
I said I feel like Austin and LeBron are always like a.
No, I agree. I was
last.
thinking about that. Austin Reeves, Rockets game was bad. Like now that I'm seeing Austin and Luka against the Rockets, I'm like, how'd we win? But I see DFS like went crazy, for example. Warriors game ended up being great, but the numbers don't even reflect that it actually wasn't great. And honestly, going into this Austin Reeves thing, I was thinking, do we give him S? Because he did his job today against the Pelicans and how the Warriors stats look. But what do the Warriors stats actually mean? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It was all empty buckets at the end. Dare I say it's actually a pretty good example of stat padding. He was trying to get us back in the game, so it's not like he did anything unethical, but it just, what is it? Like 6 of those 9 threes came at a really interesting time considering how the game went or whatever it was, or 5 of those 9 threes.
Honestly, I kind of think of stat padding the opposite way though, bro. Like when you have the lead. Like I almost felt like.
But then you could argue that you're like just trying to kill them, like bury them.
No, but okay, this is what I would say. Like I feel like stat padding is like when it's 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you're up. Well, no, I'll say when it's like 5 minutes left in the game, you're up by like 25, and LeBron's out there taking 3s and 2s, playing like it's the first quarter. No. I legit feel like even though I agree, it doesn't change my opinion that those stats don't really mean a lot because we lost. I agree with that because a loss is lost. But if Luka would have literally just woke up, that Austin Reeves game definitely would have probably solidified him as low key. But we can't go back. So I agree. I just think it's hard to rate those type of games when you lose regardless. But he did have 9 threes. Is crazy.
I mean, I'm not giving you above A for sure. Like above A.
Yeah.
And then Luka was so bad against the Warriors. I'm putting him below Luka for the first time in a minute, low key.
Okay.
That's where I'm at in A. Listen, it's gonna come down to you guys again. You guys know it's harder with some of these, but with these top guys, it's hard. So I'll hear your thoughts. I'm gonna say below Luka, and obviously we'll go with wherever we average out.
Allan?
So, like, looking at LeBron's stats and relative to how I saw, and these maybe we saw, I didn't think he was that impactful for the Houston Rockets game. Obviously, he was the main guy for that Warriors game offensively. The Pelicans game was, I feel like it was like an even playing between almost everybody. And obviously, versus OKC, he did great, but obviously Luka and slightly Austin as well were like the main priority guys. So I very much agree with putting LeBron behind Luka.
All right, bet. Wait. Also, I think we were talking about Austin Reeves, by the way.
Oh, it's Austin Reeves?
Yeah.
Oh.
My fault.
Oh. Well, it's a little spoiler. I got LeBron A, not Luka. But Austin Reeves, yeah. Sorry, I'll get distracted by TikTok.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'll try to put the Shannon Sharp.
I was like, oh, he's kind of. I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, wait, he said LeBron.
I mean, I also got LeBron behind Luka. I don't
disagree.
But I don't know. But I don't know how we're gonna order. how are you ordering? Listen, if those three are all A, how are we ordering Luka, LeBron, Redick, and Reeves? Those four. Like, what's the order there?
Redick.
I don't know.
Redick is top.
I think Redick's probably top this week.
Yeah. After that, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Okay, Luka 35, 6 and 6. Luka 19, 8 and 7. Then 36 and 7, and then Rockets was
the last two for Luka. Changed my mind on Luka. LeBron wasn't even that good against the Rockets either.
I think I'll throw it out there. I'll say Redick, Austin, Luka, LeBron. I think
how are we putting Austin when we know the context of the Warriors stats is my thing. Because the context is it's desperate hero ball and everything went down for at least 5 threes, 15 points.
Fair point.
So that's
but
why
then
he's not.
What if we offset that with the Pelicans game? Like, okay, are we rating the Pelicans game that high?
I'm not rating the Pelicans game high, but I'm rating the Thunder game higher than the rest, which I know you guys would too, which means that Luka would be above Austin and LeBron.
True. But if we're going off of that, if we're going off of that, which I agree, the only difference between the games we're comparing then at that point would be Pelicans and Luka scored 5 more points than Reeves that game. If we're not including the Golden State Warriors game where Austin Reeves played good and Luka played bad.
So that means that Luka's higher than Reeves, right? Or am I misinterpreting?
I was saying like it's.
Who was our best player this week? These are the 3 best players. We got to decide who is our best player this week.
I low-key feel like Reeves, bro. Even though, because Reeves, okay. No.
It's like going game by game, and then we'll say one player for each game. So OKC, Luka.
Yeah.
Okay, then Pelicans. I gotta go Austin.
I mean, it's either Luka or Austin, I think, but
I think Austin was way more efficient, bro. He only missed 5 shots. 6 threes.
He did only miss 5 shots. I think Luka ended up better, I'm not going to lie, but we needed Austin more at the start because Luka kind of turned it around because he started horrible against the Pelicans.
Yeah,
so that is true. In the first quarter, he was really bad. I remember that, and I tweeted about it.
Oh, my God. This is
and then Warriors. A good problem to have, I think Warriors would be unanimously LeBron. I think Warriors would be LeBron.
Yeah.
And then Rockets was
who would be Rockets?
Luka, I think
29 and 6. Yeah,
I think it was Luka.
Yeah. So I guess we can go Luka.
Wait, but the evidence, by what we just said, it's Luka, Austin, and then LeBron.
Yeah,
I think it is. By what we just said. So my thing is, and I know I'm taking the last 2 games into higher consideration. Maybe because they're the 2 most recent. So I would understand both ways of the argument. But I think if you had to decide who's the best player this week, it's Luka. But I thought all 3 of them had really good and bad moments. And that's my problem. Is like I don't see how Reeves getting like 12 in that Rockets game. And then the empty stats against the Warriors that I discussed. No offense, like to him for that, but he wasn't better than Luka.
I feel like it's really close, but
Luka. I don't know.
I feel like it's really close, but yeah, I'll go Luka for the sake of this. Like I feel like that's cool. It's close though, which I feel like it's a good thing though.
I think it's a good thing, but think about it the other way. If they could all be close in S tier as well, and like they weren't.
True.
No complaints, but
yeah, I agree. Like at this point, we're kind of picking at things, which is good. I mean, that's our job with the tier list. But like that just shows you how talented our big three has been recently, I'll say.
Yeah, but it's like, and it's both sides
Mm-hmm.
of the thing here, because they've all had really down moments.
Mm-hmm.
And they all had some really high moments in the week too, and that's why I think
True.
it makes it so hard.
Like literally, we win that Warriors game. Reeves is above Luka. Like one game like that, it would change. If we think about it. AD my all star. All right.
And shout out to Playoff Hayes Muse. He said, I feel like we had the only big three that works. And I think that's a valid statement. Like, our big three is offensively the best big three in today's NBA, possibly.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think defensively, it's pretty horrible for a big three. If you really think about it, like I know LeBron had that stretch where he was like great defensively, but like a big three of LeBron, Wade, and Bosh defensively, you didn't have to worry about, or like a Garnett, Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo, if you count him. Like those typical big threes used to have defense too. Then it switched to like the Nets big three, which was like ours, and it was better than ours besides injuries. They'll never live up to ours. KD, Harden, and Kyrie. And then you have the Suns where it's like, okay, you have KD and Booker, but that third player's ass. Like, no offense to Beal, but like that's not really a big three because of how bad Beal is.
Yeah.
So they don't match ours. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Playoff Efren mentions y'all should do a tier list for every player that played for Lakers this season. I think we may do that later once the season ends. And
sounds like a summer
effective. AD will be questionable. I think that's going to definitely be an argument where Anthony Davis belongs. But
oh my god, yeah. Allan, imagine we had Mark on and then we did the
it's S. It's S. How can you not put him S?
If we had Mark on and we put AD and Christie, it would become a nightmare, bro. But yeah, I love the idea that we should do everyone. I think we should think of what's the caveat for an AD, a Christie, a D'Lo. Like there has to be a way to indicate how good they were with the Lakers without putting them higher than people who were Lakers all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely we could definitely do with the whole playoff LAL, like do a whole playoff LAL tier list. I think that's something we could do separately. Yeah, like I said, that's something in the future that obviously all of us will think about moving forward. Also, playoff Chris, shout out to him. He says Celtics and Cavs too. I think there's an argument. Their big three is legit, but like I feel like our offensive ceiling is better than those three, arguably.
I'm sorry, but you guys can't. No one even knows what the Celtics' big three is, which is a huge problem. Like they got the two guys, and then I've heard people say White. I understand that, but I've heard people say Porzingis weirdly too. Like it was fucking Drew Holiday at one point. Like you don't even know what it is, so it can't be better than three clear players. The Cavs, I think they probably go under the radar. Because I think if you say Mobley, Mitchell, and Garland, I'm like, damn, that's up there. But I'll tell you one thing. None of those people can get close to Luka. I got Mitchell and Mobley tiers below LeBron. Same with Garland. And then Garland and Reeves kind of becomes the conversation. And if you want to give it to Garland, like I understand that. But with the other two being so much higher than the Cavs two, it's like, it's not really a conversation.
It's very marginal, yeah. It's like
the one I thought would be a conversation is Chet and Dub and Shea, but I just don't see that. I see Shea being better than Luka. I just don't see how J Dub or Chet are on the same universe as LeBron and Reeves.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if I'll make Luka my PFP again. I'm not going to lie. He definitely deserves it, and I love Luka, but my favorite player ever was Kobe. And then I also loved LeBron, which is rare growing up. Being a Laker fan, a lot of people didn't. And then he came to the Lakers, so it made it a lot better. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what – if Luka – I'll say that. Like, not that anyone's going to be monitoring it, but if Luka goes crazy in the playoffs, I'll put him back. I still love Luka regardless, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also something we could do in the future as well, like do a Lakers legend or Lakers great tier list. And yeah, we could definitely involve our subscribers. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, it's only $5. You get VIP to watch all Laker games, and including the playoffs. I feel like it's the perfect time to subscribe out there for playoff LAL. And yeah, like I said, this is our tiers for this week. No S tier. It's A is JJ Redick, Luka, Austin, and LeBron. Like I said, arguably there's vice versa. You could switch depending on your preference in player or at least performance, but that's how we have it as of right now. For B is Gabe Vincent, DFS, and Jackson Hayes. C is Rui Vando, no D this week, which is honestly a pretty good thing. If we're not putting a player at D, we could put Vando for D, but he has his gripes here and there where he does decent. So, but yeah, no D this week, which is a good thing. Injured limited is Dalton, Jordan Goodwin, Maxi Cleaver. Hopefully, maybe we stay in the playoffs. Alex Len, Mark Morris, and Shake Milton. South Bay Lakers, Bronny, Trey, and Christian Coloco. Overall, a great week for the Lakers tier list, and we're hoping that it continues to be positive, and we hopefully we don't criticize our players to end the season because we need that 3 seed, in my opinion, and whoever is the 6, first round sweep. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need the 3 seed too. And Allan, I love what you were saying. You know, it's something we'll touch on, but with the summer coming up and after the playoffs, it'll allow us here, Quester 18 and just playoff LAL in general, to think, what do we want to do this summer that's going to be fun? Video ideas, YouTube ideas, TikTok ideas. And the tier list is probably by far the most popular thing we invented weekly that we do. I would bet you $1 gazillion there's no other Laker podcast who does a weekly tier list in this way at all. So that's going to be a thing for a lot more, like Allan said. Like, I love the Lakers legends idea. And you imagine like Kobe and Magic and shit and S, and you go down and down and down. And it's hard because you have to pick from the best legends, or you got to do 2 on each tier max. Y'all got a YouTube? Not yet. That's going to be our big thing, I think, this summer. Is we'll still be live on here doing stuff like this podcast, but we'll be posting it on YouTube, trying to grow over there. We have a lot of stuff that is going to go on YouTube this summer, so it'll just be called Playoff LAL, and there'll be one called Playoff Sports Network too, I'm sure. But yeah, thank you guys, and obviously great podcast. Ended up being a great end of the week. When are y'all live, or just after Laker games? No, it's every Sunday at 5:30 normally Eastern time is when this podcast is. Thank you, Hayes Muse. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's every Sunday. It just happened to be after a Laker game today.
Yep. Yeah. I'll send it off to Allan to close us off for today, but I do appreciate everybody for staying. I know it was a long game, and then we had you guys stay after for the podcast, so we definitely always do appreciate the support you guys give us.
Sorry, yeah. I'll try to get the link, but yeah, at least for Playoff Cypher, if you're looking for YouTube, that's our YouTube for if you want to see previous streams. I put a playlist to see previous streams, like I said, our tier list. You just have to scroll through and see what our tier list says. Like I said, we also have a Twitter where we also post that there. But yeah, as always, yeah, like I said, hopefully we have Playoff Sports Network, YouTube, and of course Playoff LAL and everything else going on. Great network, as always. Like I said, if you haven't joined us, only $5 for Playoff LAL. Great network, great atmosphere, great community, and like I said, it's always a great time with you guys and everybody else. Hopefully, who does join us. Yeah, I think also Jake could. I think you could do preview for spaces and everything else for next at least playoff thing. If you have any announcements regarding that.
Listen, at the end of the day, we do spaces before and after every game. We do all the games right here. Obviously the podcast, we love you guys. It's a small community, but we're building a large community, and we have a bunch of baseball teams coming. We have 2 more baseball teams being added. We're figuring out stuff with the Dodgers room, which hasn't been live a lot yet. Not Dan's fault. We'll figure it out. So I don't know if I have any like major announcements, but I guess the big thing is like one of those baseball teams that's coming is the Cubs, and she's also a Lakers fan. Cubs Zone is the account, huge on all social medias. So she's going to be bringing a lot of people over to the network. So we're definitely excited about that. But yeah, appreciate everyone in here, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week. But also we'll see you Tuesday for Lakers Thunder Part 2 or 3 or whatever it is.
Yeah. And I'll close it out. Like I said, follow our social links at Quest18Pod, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And as Jake mentioned, we'll be back Tuesday for the Lakers versus Thunder game. And have a great rest of your weekend. Go Lakers. Enjoy this win. Enjoy everything Lakers. And this is a high, but we can keep this high going heading to Tuesday. So peace, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Peace out.